Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 13th of August, 2024. And I did a pretty long video yesterday regarding current events internationally because I'm an international security advisor and stationed out of Canada, I guess you would say. And yeah, it's a little interesting that people within government still, the higher levels I'm talking about, they're still not grasping the reality of the world, not even the shape, not even what's going on within, not even the staged and planned false flag events that have been happening for generations. And so I'm going to keep on keeping on. And hopefully this is the year that I get re-engaged. And yeah, so we can sit down and have discussions and I can share data, or they can just review my friggin' Rumble videos over the last 2 years and come up to speed. Anyway, I haven't talked about the shape of the earth in a little bit. And I think that is the most important thing that people should be talking about. It's becoming more mainstream this year, luckily. We've had Austin Whitsitt on InfoWars, and he did an incredible job. And Bart Sabral going on Joe Rogan, even though he's not a flat earther, he absolutely spanks these theories, these conspiracies regarding the moon landings. They were it never happened. They were all hoaxes. And so even internationally now, people that are faking these moon landings, like China and India and countless others, these are all lies. And the CGI is just so poorly done that I can't even believe that people are just not even doing a little bit of research to take a look at this stuff. It is what it is, though. And so the more that people address and speak out, okay, and have uncomfortable conversations with people, even within their family networks, this is how we're going to get the information out. And so even this weekend, there was a corn roast at my family's house. A lot of people were there, and we were speaking about the Olympics just a little bit, and the conversation got a little bit heated, talking about what I believe to be a male from Algeria, because of the XY chromosome, because of Swyer syndrome, the underdeveloped testes and male genitalia, and at birth, because of obviously being addressed as having Swyer syndrome, wanted to present this individual, this human being, as a female. And so that was a choice that was made. But then when puberty hit, it was very clear that that Iman or Iman, whatever his name is, was becoming the dominant male traits were coming out. And again, I'll reiterate, XY chromosome. And just because you have underdeveloped reproductive organs does not make you a woman, just like cutting off your dick or your balls does not make you a woman. And I mean, no offense when I'm saying these things. I'm coming at this from looking at repeatable, observable, measurable data. And like I've said before, theories based on fucking opinion, subjective biases, like they have no place for government, for the medical field, for the scientific community. There's no place for that. And I mean that very respectfully. And women are getting abused when we allow this stuff to happen. We saw that at the Olympics. And people are celebrating and embracing it, saying that women asked for that. No, we didn't. And like feminist this, feminist that, like people are so misinterpreting the fact that women wanted to have more of a role within society, not just being the child bearers and staying at home and having, again, and again, like that's the biggest contribution, obviously, that can be made to society. I'm not disputing that. It's a very important job. I'm not disputing that at all. And I'm absolutely someone that wanted kids my entire adult life, essentially. And yeah, and there's just so much misinformation that's going on out there, and even men, like there's so many vasectomies nowadays. There's so many men that don't want to settle down and have a family, and so a lot of women are getting blamed for the fact that men are just not putting in any real commitment or effort into actually having a family and being a traditional husband in the more traditional sense. So there are a lot of men are pushing for women to be, but where are the trad men? Where are the men that are not having vasectomies and on Tinder and or watching weird porn? You know, that's further perverting their minds. Anyways, I'm going on these tangents when I should just be presenting the shape of the earth. there's so much I can share too about our lost history and countless other things, but I'll try to keep it on track. So now my Tor is not coming up. Now it is. Okay. This is the very first one, Level. I may have shared this before. I've definitely shared Level Earth. Anyways, multiple other ones, but I want to share this one. This was from ODD TV. I highly recommend if people want to learn about the Earth, I would go and check out Eric Dubé's channel, Mark Sargent, Jaren, he has Jarenism and Globebusters. I would check out Zetetic Warrior. I would check out Stinky Cash. God, Cameron B. There's really got Austin Whitsitt, like I've already mentioned his name, but these are really good content creators. ODD TV, great content creators. Oh, I'm forgetting Dave Weiss. Oh my goodness, definitely take a look at his work. Take a look at his app. I'm not paid to say that. It's just something that when I've been at public gatherings and people are asking me questions, I can go on this Flat Earth Sun Moon app and any questions people have, I can just say like, look, they're answered right here, and we can go from there. And I can also show again further like government archive data, uncensored, unclassified, declassified data that's come out that have also admitted that the Earth is stationary and flat. And you can take a look at my Rumble videos, because another YouTube account was deleted on me just like last week or whatever it was, and so you're not going to get that on my YouTube channel, unfortunately. Anyway, here we go. Oh yeah, and Hibbler Productions. Please take a look at Hibbler Productions. HIBB. Yeah, he's great. We were going to do a podcast together. We were talking about this for the last several. Incredibly busy. He started doing these speaking conventions, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, he was busy, and so I really want to re-engage. I don't want to be annoying, so maybe I'll just wait for him to reach back out to me.
So there it is. The Earth from outer space. Do you believe this is a real, live recording? Do you believe? How about now? Does this make it more believable? Ask yourself, is this real? Do you believe? Is this real? Let's try this another way.
Breaking news. NASA finally did it. They finally did it. They're finally live streaming the Earth spinning from outer space. The world is celebrating. This one will go down in history.
Convinced? Well, if you didn't fall for that, then why would you fall for this? Maybe you just never paid attention. When you do pay attention, you start to notice things. Are you paying attention?
Dave Murphy. Dave Murphy, also brilliant. Yeah. Santos Bonacci, I don't agree with everything that he talks about, like especially regarding the esoteric stuff, but like who am I, right? Like this guy is incredibly smart and a wealth of knowledge, and he's also someone that's he's a flat earther. And I will say that I'm a assimilation projected on a flat plane of inertia where we're experiencing our with this cosmos based on pressure, density, and temperature.
Did you know that starting at the end of 2015 through 2017, flat Earth was one of the top search terms in the USA, let alone the world. While most of you were falling for the political charades, the
Denver, Colorado. I just want you to know the truth, so please don't shoot. The messenger, it's a push, but this is how it is when you live. I've been rapping for 20 years and making music. Every kid looks in that mirror and fantasizes about being famous. And because I like to make my own music, I just decided in videos. There's never been one experiment that proves that the Earth is in motion. When you try to find the curvature of the Earth, it's nowhere to be found, unless you're looking at footage from GoPro cameras that have fisheye lenses, Hollywood movies, or NASA propaganda. Started making the videos in 2014.
And even Alex Jones, like he has the globe in the background in a lot of his InfoWars series, whatever you want to call it, broadcasts. And then even people that he has hired on ornaments, like this is all part of like the psychological operations, like repeatedly inundating us with the same images to make us believe that this is the reality of the world. And Disney, I don't know if you already mentioned that, and countless other broadcasting corporations, they've been doing this for generations.
Early
It's boring.
2015.
Even Sesame Street, and they've even proved that they put it in the rocket, and it's like there are people that are sharing information with people blatantly, and they don't want to it to click, I guess. It's like shutting it out. I don't know.
Started getting noticed. You're living in a world where there's fake people faking events on TV in order to just sit around to do nothing. There was videos, every balloon's a lens, a wide angle lens, and they were using these cameras that didn't have those. The horizon rose to a high level, which would be impossible on a ball that would be falling away from you as you rose up. There's people putting out top 10 NASA hoax videos debunking the moon landing picking between 2015.
Google be promoting this.
As a joke?
As a joke? No. We know. Does the
Provide users with authoritative, trustworthy
Sounds,
information.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I only have a minute and a half, and I don't really need to hear. Or what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So they've shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the earth is flat on YouTube. Where you see a lot of
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the earth is not flat.
correct.
Correct. Well, you're
instead
wrong.
of deleting, bring in their puppets?
Yeah, okay, that helps. Sorry about that. It was working so perfectly yesterday. And even with the Elon Musk Trump X interview, so I'm back. Even with the Elon Musk Trump X interview that happened yesterday, apparently it was delayed by an hour or something like that, and people think that it was like there was possibly some kind of like a cyber attack or interruption, disruption, and I don't put that past anyone. I really don't, and I do think that there are people and accounts that are getting absolutely targeted, like for disruption of signal, in order to make it where they're finding workarounds. Even me, we're finding workarounds to get our information out there, and we're being consistent. Even when my accounts get deleted, I don't just give up, right? And so like if you don't give up, and we're not doing anything illegal, and there's a lot of that come up with other ways to censor us. That's not conspiratorial, by the way. It is a fact.
And addressing this threat.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
The earth being flat is getting out of control. Can you please help?
See far enough to realize the earth isn't flat.
1 + 1
He's
is
an actor.
2,
What color is the sky?
blue,
And the earth is
round. It is here.
This book celebrates flat earth theory that is spreading ironically around the world.
World and its possible roundness.
Spinning. Now they are talking about it. They want you to search for it because they already changed their algorithm
Yep.
to be set up in their favor.
What is this trash?
None of this tells you our side of the story and learn. Like here, have you ever seen a time lapse of the sun? Does it look like the earth is rotating backwards and the sun is still? Or does it look like our sun is simply moving across our sky, traveling away from your perspective? Again, but with some inversion, you can clearly see the sun not only decreasing its size, but heading towards its next destination with a slight turn before it disappears from your line of sight. While Google would make sure when you type in flat earth that nothing like this would ever pop up, many agree the science regarding our sun is far from settled.
Yep.
We're told that the sun is a massive ball of burning gas 93 million miles away. But if that were true, then all the light that arrives here would be parallel because it's so far away. And it has to be parallel because one of the most often cited supposed globe proofs is Eratosthenes' experiment between Alexandria and Syene, by which he calculated the size of the Earth. For that calculation to be accurate, the light must come down parallel. The only problem is on a sun that comes down at angles, diverging angles. And that means that we can follow those light rays back to the source and triangulate the sun's height above the Earth.
That's right.
Proving that the sun isn't millions of miles away. But we can also perform physical experiments that prove that these crepuscular rays, as they're called,
Crepuscular rays, yeah.
can only be recreated with
sun rays would spread out and become parallel. The reason you'd even think that the
If
sun
the Earth was flat, wouldn't it be sunny all the time? I mean, have they ever even thought about it?
Well, if you'd let me finish, the reason you'd even think the sun would be visible from anywhere on Earth is because of the images they have shown you. No one promoting this book stands for truth. You can keep believing
What is
in
that?
your fantasy. Gas ball 93 million miles away.
You can keep believing in your fantasy.
Comprehend that the sun is
.31 centimeters above the table. What you'd see is a circular pool of light direct. But on the other side of the table, it would be in darkness. Now, it seems to our mind that if you were on the other side of the table, you would see the light. That the
Your senses are correct.
from the surf.
I see that we're having connection issues. I'm so sorry for that. So I just linked this video. If you guys want to watch it on a less censored platform.
That's not what we see.
with it. What happened to pollution, dander, chemtrails, and fog, as well as your perspective?
Appear to sink down in your field of view. That's perspective. The further away you get from it, the lower it will appear. It just appears that way to your eyes until eventually it will disappear 2 degrees beyond the limit of your sight. Many times we can see time-lapse footage of the sun that shows it getting smaller as it moves away from us. Now, that's not always the case, since the sun is travelling around the North Pole. The closer you are to the North, the less you'll see the size change. But from
Of course. Of course. Yeah, so the sun travels approximately 1,000 miles. I'm just trying to see here about connecting to my regular internet. Okay, so my main internet was not connecting. I could share images, I could share archive data. I've done that before, it's even from the Wayback Machine. And it's just funny these days. The amount of, I really think that there's something that's jamming my internet. I really do, because I've never had issues like I have, and I don't buy, like a tree getting in the way. I don't buy any of that shit, and yeah, I just don't buy it. The sun travels approximately 1,000 miles per hour, approximately 15 degrees per hour through this diacal belt on a daily and annual basis. And that's why people are saying that there's an alleged circumference of approximately 24,901 miles, approximately 40,000 kilometers. And there's a shorter path that it takes when it's circling, heading towards the Tropic of Cancer, when it's the highest in the sky, or how we perceive it to be the highest in the sky and closest to us, especially in the northern regions, or the regions closest to the North Pole, which is where approximately 90% of the population actually resides. And then when it circles back to the equatorial ring, where there's equal amount of day and night in the northern and southern areas, or the areas that are in between sun of Capricorn, where it's on its exterior ring, where it's a further path, or a longer path that it travels, and it speeds up. Okay, it goes fast when it's at the Tropic of Capricorn, in order to balance or manage that, to average out the 24-hour clock. And that's why when it's closer to us, we see it as being bigger, higher in the sky, and when it's further away from us, we see it as being smaller and further away. Is this the physical luminary that we're seeing, or a reflection from the dome? Like, there's so many different theories out there. I haven't been up there to confirm this. I would like to, but there's anyway, it takes a lot of money and a lot of approvals, and obviously government approvals as well, even to get to Antarctica. Despite what people think, you can't just go there on your own and investigate. Okay, yeah, there's cruise ships to like one little area, tourist attraction, and they have that fake South Pole freaking location as well. When, ladies and gentlemen, it's bullshit. And the sun doesn't travel further north than 23.4 degrees north latitude of the equatorial ring, and it doesn't travel further south than 23.4 degrees south latitude from the equatorial ring. And yeah, this is just stuff that I've talked about in countless other videos to listen. Tour's not back up. I'm going to try again. Nope.
Change at all.
Our eyes cannot see farther than what they were designed to see, but that is no reason to keep them closed.
There's also an effect that occurs under certain conditions, as well as the rain.
So that's fine. I wanted to share that video, and it's going to be impossible. So I'll share some data that I've already shared. So this is Army Research Laboratory from February 2001, ARLTR 2352, propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Multiple discussions about flat. Age 50. The helicopter equations of motion are given in body axis with respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth. Yeah, there's so much. There's so much. Let me see here. But yeah, like I'm sharing government documents, even stuff in the Wayback Machine. Like I've said, it's not loading. I don't know. Talking about fenbendazole. I've got so much out. Let me see. A lot of references too. Anyway. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Joseph R. Maletta. Oh, yeah, I already said that. Anyway, this is just a redundant one. But anyway, there's so many. And now I'll share more. Yeah, that wasn't even sharing, but anyway. And so this is these are the okay. And only 3 to 5% of VAERS were actually reported because of financial and positional incentive. So this is over 2 years ago now. And look at this, and they're reported. And actually, even in February of 2021, when I said that there were spontaneous abortions, and by the way, stillbirths, which they have in another category, in other fetal deaths, this is what I'm talking about. And it's not considered to be fatal because the mother didn't die, but all the fucking babies died. So I will reiterate this information and the possible links and gave these fucking VAERS to her chain of command. I'm talking about this as well. Okay, and if you think the public health experts and the ombudsman and Wayne Eyre and Brenda Lucki and Justin, if you think that they didn't receive this, they did, because even I personally shared it and other people I got to share it as well. And there's that not want to get this therapeutic they were pregnant and trying for over 5 years to have another child. Over 5 years trying to have it until the last possible time, because again, all these reports were coming up for her as well. Within days, she had a spontaneous abortion and she was devastated. And her family was her husband was devastated. This also impacts her son. And again, this is just one example. Not Patty Hajdu or Vera Etches or Chrystia Freeland. I have kids too. I know you guys are suffering with with a financial crisis that I'm perpetuating, but if you get rid of Disney Plus, that should help. Population apparently not procreating enough. I wonder if this had anything to do with that as well, and the fact that we were down for years, and even curfews. Yep, that happened in Canada, and all the fertility issues that, by the way, that are also in these bears for future possibilities of never having a possibility of having children again, men and women, but mostly women. We're pushing back vasectomies too. Die from COVID if you get the vaccine. Really? Part of a VAERS vaccine adverse event reported. So people were contracting COVID-19 via inoculation, even as even over 2.5 years ago now. And there were people dying. Yeah, that's fatality, contracting COVID via inoculation. But people were dying. And there were abortions, spontaneous abortions, and there were stillbirths, and there were reproductive issues, and there was myocarditis and pericarditis and turbo cancers and blood clots and everything else. Yep. Right now, right? I'm a veteran too. So, yeah. I'll try this again.
Between you and the sun acts like a lens and a prism, magnifying it greatly. Leads to another observational proof that the sun setting is an optical effect. It's just an optical illusion.
Pay attention to the sun rays. This alone proves our local sun, and so do these shadows. So what about the moon? We all witness the moon only illuminating the local clouds around it. That is because it is also a local light, but one with opposite effects from the sun. As we can all agree, shade from the sun is cooler than direct sunlight. But did you know the moon's shade is actually warmer than direct moonlight? The moon produces cold light, something the science priests must have forgotten to teach us all about in school. Not only that, but at times we can see stars through the moon, proving it is not some solid rock 238,900 miles away. In the 60s, true science regarding the moon was the shadow band topic of its era.
consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who wants to serve mankind with what man has striven for from the beginning of consciousness, with truth and understanding of the world.
Now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is plasma, cosmic plasma. Gravitational theories are out, and the new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved. This fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theory?
The result will be profound and decisive, because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. And
the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen.
People actually believe they walked on the moon, talked with Nixon, played golf, drove a car, and planted a flag.
If you really believe that Neil Armstrong took the first step, then why do you give any credit to the cameraman already there waiting for him?
These guys were all U.S. military men coerced into acting. They wanted the money and power that came with the deal, of course. The problem was, they were terrible actors. They couldn't even pretend to be excited, knowing they were...
Yeah, so when you talk about veterans, and you're putting them number one on the fucking terror watch list, these are the fucking assholes. And I'm sorry for swearing. I know I shouldn't be swearing. Oh my goodness. But Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, these clowns are the ones that should be number one on the terror watch list, not the people that are trying to share the lies that these people are perpetuating that are actually killing people.
Were lying to the world.
Put them on the terror list.
Had to go on. Michael Collins and
Neil Armstrong's dead now, but
spoke in public about it. But there was one man
let his legacy
not shy about lying to your face.
Yeah.
The spokesperson for the Apollo deception.
My pleasure to present Colonel Edwin Holden.
I'm not a fucking colonel.
Expressions are similar to those experiencing constipation, not celebrating an accomplishment.
Distinguished ladies,
not a hero.
It is with a great sense of pride as an American and with humility
as a sellout,
as a human being,
as a treasonous swine,
that I say to you today what no men have been privileged to say before.
I mean, they couldn't pay baited these almost 50 years later. They haven't had the balls to fake another.
As a tattooer, I talk to hundreds of people a month, and people are actually really starting to wake up with everything that's going on right now. I mean, people are sick of the lies. This is the biggest deception ever. The globe is one thing. Take one of their satellites, zoom in on someone in Australia, upside down, driving a car. Or in the ocean, swimming upside down. That's all they would have to do. Just zoom in. But they won't do it. They'll never do it. We have orbit so you can see through the circle and making that look like that was the Earth. And like, this is a joke. I mean, how do people... This is real. I think it's hilarious that NASA will straight up tell you to destroy the technology to go to the moon.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond, but it's a painful process to build it back again.
But they destroyed the technology and they can't go back. It's ridiculous. There's an interview with Buzz Aldrin, actually, where he's being interviewed by a little girl. Her question
It's not an 8-year-old's question.
Yeah, it is actually.
That's my question.
Kids are
I
asking
want to
now
know, but I think I know
because their parents are letting them know.
because we didn't. Go there, and that's the way it happened.
after 50 years of lying to humanity and his time wouldn't let him lie to this little 8-year-old girl with water magically attached to it, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, shooting around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour. Rocketing through the universe at 500,000 miles an hour is you think you're a monkey man, a purposeless accident, bang, they steal $58 million in taxpayers' money to show you cartoons, CGI. They just have to show you enough of Hollywood and magic tricks.
Taxpayer dollars that are funding the Canadian Space Agency, like NASA, like we've got so much taxpayers' money, even in Canada. This is not just the US that is going towards bullshit and propaganda and disruption, things that actually work, then it would be not going to these programs, ladies and gentlemen.
All cases of fans. The Earth is a stationary plane. Google bubbles in space coming up from these astronauts' helmets.
I see it's not working. And so I highly recommend that people take a look at ODD TV, Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, Zodiac. I have made it to over 100,000 views on my Rumble account. I'm really excited about that. To a lot of people, that doesn't sound like much, especially since it's been like almost 2 years that I've been posting videos, but it's on Rumble. It's a very censored platform, especially in Canada. And so the fact that I've gotten to 100,000 views, I'm really excited about that. And I'm hoping that Rumble, apparently they send something in the mail or viral, the content gets pushed more up. And so I'm hoping that is what happens. On YouTube, I can forget about it. It's a very censored platform by design. And the people that are funding it are the ones that are perpetuating this friggin' whatever you want to call it, New World Order. It sounds ridiculous to say, it sounds conspiratorial, but there are people that transcend national pride, and people that, again, like this is the religion of money, and with no forethought of or afterthought of social ramifications for profit margins. And so, yeah, we're going to continue to have internet and people that are trying to push us into a world war, because it's there's a lot of money in that as well. And so anyways, I'm going to leave it at that, just because I don't want to frustrate more people with the constant disruptions in my internet. I have been looking at Starlink. It's an option that I really contract, especially if there's like no-fly zones or any kind of events that happen where it would where there would be possible government intervention in order to censor various platforms during certain periods of time. So anyways, with Starlink, I don't feel as comfortable going with them because of who owns it, at aircrafts and things like that as well. So even when Ukraine and Russia were at the start of that proxy war, people were saying that Elon Musk was a hero because he didn't, enable, internet connections because it was honorable or anything like that, and everything to do with being limited and restricted based on what was going on, and aircrafts not having authority to travel in certain areas, and so they weren't able to get the signal bounced from their satellite dishes or whatever they were using, and the aircrafts that Starlink uses in order to bounce these signals off. And friendly reminder that 95 to 99% of internet connection still is underwater fiber optic cables. So, yeah. So, anyways, take a look at these social media platforms. I highly encourage people to do a lot more research before just dismissing this, because again, this is really important, and we Canadian actronauts like Chris Hadfield and others that I won't mention, that even people I know, and it's now the Canada has full access to people's social media platforms, and so even if I wanted to comment or say or do anything in order to give more information, it's going to go to the people that are intentionally lying to us. So my recommendation is to be peaceful, is to try to seek out legal counsel, legal teams, and sue. Okay, there's people like all over the world that are actually doing this, and they're winning these court cases. Okay, against the government or against certain organizations or committees that are lying about the shape of the earth. And so continue with that. Call your mayor, your local leader, your district leader, the political party that you most identify with or want to vote for, and come with knowledge and data to back up what you're claiming, because again, this sounds crazy to people that have been lied to for their entire lives and their families' lives, and speak on in a relatively rational manner. And don't get upset, because again, that doesn't help anything, but get this information out. Have the uncomfortable conversations with your friends and your family. Share uncomfortable information with your friends and family, and make sure that they know that you're coming from a place of love, and not trying to push an agenda or any of that stuff. And don't get frustrated if people don't want to listen in all levels of government. Again, since for a very long time. And so anyway, on that note, I will leave it at that, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful